I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 5 years now. We got engaged last year and we're planning to get married in a few months. Honestly, I thought we had a pretty solid relationship. We had our fights, sure, but nothing that made me feel like she'd ever cheat on me, or so I thought. The signs started subtly. She'd suddenly be more secretive with her phone, always locking it when I was around, and I'd catch her hiding her screen when I walked into the room. She'd get defensive if I asked about it, brush it off with some lame excuse like, "It's just work stuff." But I knew she was lying. I felt it in my gut. Still, I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I love her. I wanted to believe she was faithful. Then, about a month ago, I started noticing her coming home later than usual, making up stories about staying late at work or meeting with a client. I didn't think much of it at first. People do that, right? But her behavior was off. She was colder, more dismissive, and she started deleting her text history and call logs more often. That's when I started looking at her phone more closely when she wasn't paying attention. I know it's invasive, but I couldn't help myself. I needed to know what was going on. One night I found something that knocked the wind out of me. A message thread between her and her boss, Derek. It wasn't just polite work talk. There were flirtatious comments, sexual innuendos, and even plans to meet up after hours for sex. I couldn't believe it. My wife Lisa was screwing her boss, Derek, right before our wedding. She'd been lying to my face for months. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. The worst part, I also found out that she's been cheating on me with her childhood friend Jake for years, long before we even got engaged. I knew she'd had a long history with him, but I never thought she'd keep up a side affair for so long. It's like her lies didn't have an end. All those times she said she loved me, I had to wonder if she was just saying what she thought I wanted to hear while she was sneaking around behind my back. It's almost too much to process. I didn't sleep that night, just sat there staring at my phone, reading all those messages. I kept asking myself how I didn't see it sooner, how I didn't feel the betrayal coming. I felt angry, confused, and deeply hurt. I knew I had to confront her, but I didn't even know where to start. I just wanted her to look me in the eyes and admit everything. But Lisa, she's always been a master at lying, twisting her words, and acting like the victim. I knew that when I confronted her, she'd deny everything or try to make me doubt my own instincts. So I waited until she came home that night. She walked in looking a little too nonchalant, like she didn't have a care in the world. I kept the evidence hidden, but I was ready. I didn't want her to deny or lie her way out this time. I wanted the truth, raw and ugly. I told her I knew about Derek, about Jake, about everything. Her face changed for a second, like she was caught off guard, but then she smiled, that bitchy, manipulative smile she always has. "You're paranoid," she said, brushing past me. "You're overthinking again." I lost it then. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I asked her outright, "Are you cheating on me? With Derek? With Jake? How long has this been going on?" She looked at me, cool as ever, and said, "You're making a huge deal out of nothing, Mike. You're just insecure. Derek is just a boss. Jake's just a friend who's been there for me. You're paranoid because you're afraid of losing me. But I love you. I want to marry you. All this talk about cheating, it's just in your head." That's when I realized I was dealing with a woman who's good at lying, good at hiding her true colors. She's bitchy, she's manipulative, and she'll say anything to keep her lies intact. I felt a mix of rage and despair. How did I get here? How did I trust someone so deeply, and yet she was betraying me behind my back? I didn't know what to believe anymore, but I knew one thing. This was only the beginning. The more she denied it, the angrier I got. I couldn't understand how she could sit there, look me in the eyes, and lie so effortlessly. It was like talking to a wall of bullshit. I had everything, texts, screenshots, even her own words. Yet she still insisted it was all a misunderstanding, that I was just jealous, that Derek and Jake were just her friends, nothing more. She called me paranoid, said I was controlling, and accused me of inventing things because I don't trust her. Honestly, it was infuriating. But beneath all that anger, I felt this deep, sinking hurt. All those years I thought we had a real connection, and she was sneaking around, betraying me with her boss and her childhood friend. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept replaying everything I'd found, trying to piece it together. I kept asking myself, How do I even trust her again? I mean, she's been lying for years, and the crazy part, she still tries to act like she's the victim whenever I bring it up. You're overreacting, she said. It's just sex. It doesn't mean anything. Just sex, just cheating on me with someone she claims to. Love, I don't know how she can say that with a straight face. It's like she's built a whole different universe to justify her lies. Next, I started thinking about the wedding, the day she'd be walking down the aisle all dressed up, pretending everything was perfect. How many people knew she was cheating? Did she plan to keep this going forever? I felt betrayed not just by her, but by the idea of everything we'd planned. Every moment, every promise suddenly felt like a lie. And then I started to wonder, how many other lies are hiding in plain sight? Is there more she's not telling me? I decided I had to get more concrete evidence. I needed her to slip up to show her true colors again. I set up a hidden recorder in the room where she usually kept her phone. I wanted to catch her in the act, even if it meant going fully into detective mode. It felt wrong, like I was invading her privacy, but I was desperate. I couldn't keep going on blind anymore. I needed proof, solid proof, to either confront her with or finally get closure. A few days later, she had a late-night meeting again. I waited, heart pounding, listening to her arrive home. I played the recording afterward, nothing incriminating there, but I knew she was hiding something. That's when I made up my mind. I'd confront her again, but this time I was prepared. I wasn't going to let her spin her lies. I wanted honesty, raw and brutal. If she was going to keep up her act, I was ready to call her out for every single lie she'd told. The next confrontation was intense. I sat her down, played the recordings, showed her the texts. Her face turned pale, then she snapped, said I was stalking her, that I was controlling, that I was crazy for even looking this deep. She called me paranoid again, said I was just jealous of her success at work, that Derek was just her boss, that Jake was just her childhood friend. But I wasn't buying it anymore. I could see through her bullshit. She kept denying everything, but I knew the truth. I knew she'd been lying, cheating, betraying me for years. And what killed me the most, she still acted like she was the victim. You're ruining everything, she hissed. You're making this about me, but it's about you. You don't trust me, and that's why I have to lie. I wasn't cheating because I don't love you. I was just bored, or maybe I just needed some excitement. You think I'm some kind of monster, but I'm not. I'm just human. That's when I felt everything crumble inside me. I'd given her everything. I worked my ass off, supported her dreams, trusted her with my life, and she was out there screwing around with her boss and her childhood friend. I looked at her, and all I could see was this bitchy, manipulative woman who'd been lying to my face for years. I didn't even know who she was anymore. I had no idea how to process this level of betrayal. All I knew was that I couldn't stay with her, not after everything I'd found out. But the pain of it, it's like a wound that keeps bleeding. I'm stuck in this mess, trying to figure out what to do next. After that confrontation, everything changed. I couldn't look at Lisa the same way. She kept up the act of crying, saying she was sorry, claiming she loved me and that she'd never do it again, but I knew better. I saw through her tears and her fake apologies. This wasn't just a fling or a mistake. It was years of betrayal, lying, and manipulation. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck, emotionally drained and completely disillusioned. The worst part, she still insisted she was the victim in her own twisted way. You don't understand me, she said, voice trembling. I was just lonely, and Derek made me feel alive again. And Jake, just my childhood friend, nothing more. You're making this into some huge drama, but I love you. I want us to get past this. But I couldn't believe her. How could I? Every word was another lie. Every fake tear was another punch in the gut. I started questioning everything. Was she just pretending to care? Was all her love just a mask? I realized I was in deep, deep enough that I didn't even trust my own feelings anymore. I felt hurt, angry, betrayed, and somehow numb all at once. I kept thinking about the life I'd imagined with her, and now I couldn't see it anymore. It was shattered into pieces, all because of her lies. Honestly, I was in a state of shock. I couldn't take her at her word anymore. So I decided I needed to step back, take some time to think, to breathe. I told her I was leaving for a few days to clear my head. I didn't want to explode in rage or say something I'd regret later. I needed space, but more than that, I needed to figure out if I could ever trust her again. Because right now, trust felt like a distant memory, something I wasn't sure I'd ever get back. While I was gone, I kept replaying everything in my head. All the moments I thought were normal, all the signs I ignored. I kept asking myself whether it was worth trying to salvage this relationship, or if I should just cut ties and walk away. I was so exhausted emotionally, I didn't even know what I really wanted anymore. All I knew was that I couldn't keep living in this constant state of doubt and pain. The betrayal was too deep, and the road to recovery seemed almost impossible. When I came back home, Lisa was waiting, acting like everything was fine. She tried to act sweet to make me feel guilty for leaving, but I wasn't buying it. I saw through her fake charm, through her tears, that she was trying so hard to sell as genuine. I told her I needed honest answers, no more lies or excuses. I asked her point blank, "Did you ever love me at all, or was I just a placeholder all this time?" She looked stunned for a second, then said, "Of course I love you. I was stupid, that's all. I was weak." But I wasn't sure if I should believe her or not. That's when I realized that, even if she was telling the truth now, the damage was already done. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to fix. I felt like I was standing at a crossroads. One path led to trying to forgive and rebuild, no matter how hard, and the other was walking away, cutting my losses and starting over. Honestly, I didn't know which way to go. I just knew I couldn't stay in this limbo, constantly questioning whether she was lying again, whether I was just fooling myself into thinking she'd change. As I sit here, now I'm trying to make sense of everything. Betrayal like this, it changes you. It makes you question your judgment, your worth, even your sanity. I keep telling myself I deserve better than someone who can lie so easily and cheat so blatantly. But then another part of me still hopes that maybe, just maybe, there's a way back from this. Or maybe I'm fooling myself. All I know is I'm not the same man I was before I found out the truth. That's what hurts the most. The person I thought I knew turned out to be someone entirely different. And I don't know if I can ever trust her again. Honestly, after everything I'd been through, finding out about her affair with Derek, discovering her years-long lie about Jake, confronting her multiple times, I was just exhausted. I felt like I'd been playing detective in my own life, chasing shadows and trying to piece together a puzzle that kept changing. Every time I thought I had it all figured out, she'd come up with some new excuse, some new lie to cover her ass. It was like she thrived on spinning stories, twisting things around to make herself look innocent. But the truth was, she was just good at hiding how much she'd betrayed me. At this point, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Part of me wanted to just cut my losses, walk away, and never look back. I'd been so emotionally drained I couldn't see any way to rebuild what we had. The other part of me, the stubborn part that still remembered the good times, was clinging to some hope that maybe she could change, maybe she could earn my trust back. But honestly, that hope was fading fast. Every time I looked at her, I saw this bitchy, manipulative woman who could lie with a smile on her face and betray me without a second thought. One night, I decided I had to have a serious talk. No more hiding or pretending to be okay. I sat her down and told her exactly how I felt. I told her I was hurt, betrayed, and that I didn't know if I could ever see her the same way again. I asked her straight up, "Why? Why did you do all this? Why did you lie to me for so long? What did I do wrong?" She looked at me with those cold, bitchy eyes and said, "You were too trusting. You never suspected a thing. I needed excitement, or maybe I just wanted to see if I still had it in me. I love you, but I wasn't happy and I didn't know how to tell you, so I just cheated." Hearing her say that made my stomach turn. She basically admitted that she cheated because she was bored or unhappy, not because she loved Derek or Jake more than me. It was like she was trying to justify her actions, but all I could think was, "But you lied to me for years." That was the part that cut the deepest. She didn't just cheat, she built this whole web of lies around it, making me question my own sanity. I asked her if she ever truly loved me or if I was just some fool she settled for. She hesitated, looked away, then said, "I care about you. I do, but I was selfish. I wanted more and I made mistakes." Mistakes, that's what she called this. A mistake, like cheating on me with her boss and her childhood friend, was just some slip-up. It made me see her differently, like she's incapable of taking responsibility for her actions. Every word she said sounded hollow, like she was rehearsing her lines for a play she knew she'd lose. Deep down, I felt this growing anger, not just at her but at myself. How did I let this happen? How did I miss all the signs? I kept asking myself if I was just a fool for trusting her, for believing she loved me. All those nights I stayed up, thinking about our future, about the life we were supposed to build. Was it all just a lie? I felt this overwhelming sense of betrayal, and honestly, I was starting to question whether I even wanted to stay in this relationship anymore. Part of me said, end it now before it's too late, but another part, the part that still remembered what we had, clung on. I decided I needed a break. Not just a few days to cool off, but some real space to think about what I wanted. I told her I was leaving for a while, that I needed to clear my head and figure out if I could forgive her or if I even wanted to. She begged me to stay, cried, said she'd do anything to fix this, but I couldn't trust her anymore. Trust, once shattered, doesn't just come back. It takes time, and honestly, I didn't know if I was willing to give her that. As I packed my bag, I felt this terrible mix of anger, sadness, and disappointment. I'd never imagined I'd be in this situation. I thought I knew her, thought she was my partner for life. But now, I wasn't sure I knew anything anymore. All I knew was that I had to get away, at least for a little while. I needed to figure out if I still wanted her in my life, or if I should just walk away and start over. The betrayal was too deep, and my trust in her was practically non-existent now. All I can say is, I never thought someone I loved could do something so cruel, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive her, not truly. The days I spent away from Lisa were some of the hardest of my life. I thought I'd be able to clear my head, get some distance, and maybe find clarity. But all I did was replay everything. Her lies, her betrayals, the way she looked at me that night before I left, like she was already preparing for my departure. I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd been blind for so long, that I'd missed all her warning signs, all her manipulations. Every memory I had with her now felt tainted, like I'd been living in a fantasy that she deliberately spun for her own benefit. I kept asking myself whether I could even trust myself anymore. Did I miss the clues? Was there something I could have done differently? The truth is, I felt like I had no idea who she really was. She was so good at lying, so good at hiding her true self behind that bitchy, manipulative facade. I wondered how many other guys she'd lied to, how many secrets she was still hiding. The betrayal ran so deep that I questioned everything, including whether I should ever trust anyone again. It was like my whole worldview had been shattered. While I was gone, I reached out to some friends trying to get a handle on the situation. Honestly, a lot of them told me to cut her loose, that she was toxic, that I deserved someone who wouldn't cheat and lie. But even with all their advice, I couldn't help feeling torn. I still remembered the good times, the moments when she made me laugh, when I thought she was the one. Even now, part of me wanted to believe that maybe she was truly sorry, that she'd change. But then again, I'd heard that lie before. When I returned home, Lisa was waiting. She greeted me with a nervous smile, trying to act as if everything was normal, as if she hadn't spent months lying behind my back. I looked at her and didn't feel the love I once did. Instead, I felt nothing but cold, a kind of numbness that was hard to shake. She begged me to talk, to give her a chance to explain, but I wasn't in the mood for words. I needed actions, not empty promises. So I told her straight. I needed honesty now, no more lies. I wanted to know if she genuinely regretted what she'd done, or if she was just sorry she got caught. I asked her, are you willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild this, to be transparent, or are you just going to keep lying and covering your ass? She hesitated, then nodded, saying she'd do anything. But I could see the doubt in her eyes, and I knew better than to believe her so easily. The truth is, I didn't know if I could ever trust her again. The betrayal ran too deep, and every time I looked at her, I saw a woman I no longer recognized. Her bitchy, manipulative side had come out more than once, and I realized she'd been lying so effortlessly for years. I don't know if I'll ever fully forgive her, but I also don't want to make any rash decisions right now. I've learned that trust is fragile, something that takes years to build but can be shattered in a moment. Right now, I'm in this limbo. Part of me feels like I should just walk away, cut my losses, and find someone who won't betray me. But another part is still holding onto the hope that maybe, just maybe, if she's truly sorry and willing to change, we could try to rebuild what we lost. The problem is, after everything I've found out, I don't know if that's even possible. I keep asking myself whether I want to stay in a relationship based on lies, or if I should just start over alone. All I know is that I'm not the same person I was a few weeks ago. The betrayal changed me, made me question everything about myself and about her. I realize now that trust is something you can't just rebuild overnight. It's earned, through honest actions and genuine remorse. And honestly, I'm not sure she's capable of giving me that anymore. I just wish I knew what the right choice was. All I can do is take it day by day, trying to figure out whether I can forgive her, or if I need to finally let go before I get hurt even more. Now, after everything, I've come to a difficult, painful conclusion. Trust, once broken, doesn't just come back because someone says they're sorry. It's a long road, and honestly, I don't see her walking that path with me. I've spent weeks trying to process what I've learned, trying to find a way to forgive her, too. Move past the betrayals. But every time I look at her, I see this manipulative, bitchy woman who lied, cheated, and made a fool of me for years. And I realize that I deserve better than someone who can betray me so easily and so often. The truth is, I don't think I can rebuild what's been shattered. She's shown her true colors, and they're not ones I want to wake up to every day. I've learned that to truly heal, you have to be honest with yourself. And the honest truth is, I don't love her anymore. Not the way I used to. The love has been replaced by doubt, anger, and a deep sense of loss. It hurts to admit that, but I know I can't go on pretending everything's okay when inside I feel like I've been ripped apart. Deciding to end things was one of the hardest choices I've ever made. I told her I couldn't stay, that I needed to walk away and start over, even if it was going to be painful. She tried to plead, to manipulate her way back into my good graces, but I finally saw through her. There's no coming back. From this level of betrayal, not for me. I have to protect myself, my sanity, and my future. No matter how much it hurts, I have to let go of the person I thought she was, and accept the reality of who she really is. Looking back, I realize I should have trusted my instincts from the start. All those little signs, the secretive behavior, the lies. If I'd paid attention earlier, maybe I could have saved myself this heartbreak. But at the same time, I also learned that some people are just good at hiding who they really are until it's too late. I wish her the best, really, but I know I can't keep living in this shadow of betrayal. I deserve someone who values honesty, loyalty, and respect, not someone who manipulates and cheats behind my back. So now, I'm focusing on healing, on rebuilding my life. It's going to be a long process, and honestly, I don't know if I'll ever fully trust again. But I do know that I'm better off alone than with someone who lied and betrayed me for so long. I'll carry this lesson with me, about listening to my gut, about recognizing red flags early, and about never sacrificing my self-respect for a false sense of love. This experience has opened my eyes to a lot about relationships, trust, and the importance of honesty. It's made me realize that sometimes love isn't enough to fix what's broken. Sometimes the damage is just too deep. And that's okay. Because even though I'm hurting right now, I believe I'll come out stronger on the other side, wiser, more cautious, and ready to find a love built on truth and respect. No more lies, no more betrayals, just real, honest connection.